The title of my speech is Speak Up. In a recent article that I read by Faye Blair, it did a 7-year study over children who witnessed domestic violence in their home across the U.S. It stated that 1 in 15 children witnessed domestic violence in their home across the U.S. If you calculate that across the United States, it's 8.2 million children who witness domestic violence. Some of you have probably been victims of domestic violence or even witnessed domestic violence as children. I personally have witnessed domestic violence in my household when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. I was scared. I really don't remember what happened, how I felt. I'm gonna kind of block it out of my memory. But today I'm going to be talking to you about the issue of domestic violence, some solutions that could come forth for it, and also some the future effects if it doesn't stop. Domestic violence is abuse from another person who abuses another person, and they're usually in an intimate relationship or a family relationship. Women are the most victims of domestic violence. Men are as well, but not as common. Women can suffer from so much through depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, alcohol abuse, or even suicidal behavior. It's been shown that women who are out of a domestic violence relationship often have even more psychological problems than the women that are still in the relationship. It could be because they feel like they deserve that, or because they don't know that there's something better out there or something. But what I think can possibly change that is by informing women that that's not how you're supposed to be treated. Just let them know how so many women are in this together, and they need to form a group campaign and get the message across. Some of you are probably familiar with Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, there are women who are treated less than men. The women in Saudi Arabia, they're treated less than men. They're either under their father or their father or their husband, and they often have to get permission if they can work, if they can get married, if they can have children, if they can go to school. So that gives you the idea of how much they're under men. And because of this, domestic violence is very common between them. I read a recent article. It's called "The Times Are A-Changin'," and it kind of talks about how Saudi Arabian law is kind of changing. In 2013, the princess of one of the states there said that she started a campaign against domestic violence. It's this picture. It's a woman in a burqa. She's covered fully. Right here, her left eye is bruised, and it states, "Some things can't be covered." This campaign, it moved all across. It went worldwide. It moved across the world, and it impacted a lot of people because a lot of women in Saudi Arabia are abused women who need help. And also, about 3 months after this campaign started, the ministers of Saudi Arabia they did a regulation on protection against abuse. Although they did do this regulation, there is a penal code in Saudi Arabia where a woman she's required to be under a man and take his orders. So if she potentially deserves to be punished, the abuser can still get off and get acquitted. I don't believe it's right, but the fact that this campaign has changed and moved across the world and changed in their country to allow women to protest against it is very moving. And I believe that domestic violence can have a huge effect on the future if it's not changed. It can have so much of an effect on your oral health. as in your teeth. Women can get beaten so hard and they get fractures in their teeth. And because they're beaten so badly, they don't realize that they have any fractures. And I also read another article, Domestic Violence Effects on Oral Health. It stated that 47% of women who were in the study that they did were victims of domestic violence. Also, our children are highly affected by this. And the reason is because they see everything and they do as they see. And also, I read a very interesting statistic that said only 6% of children that are witnesses of domestic violence go on to college to get a 4-year degree. So the other 94% of that 82 million people are going to either get an associate's degree or lower. You know, and that's ridiculous. That's completely insane. Violence against women is, you know, so that's why I think campaigning, if you know a family or a friend who is a victim of domestic violence, you should just, you know, form a group and campaign. Violence against women is one of the major public health and human rights problems in the world today, and I say we get together and make a difference.